Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Yes, I can be on time, not usually, but I can be on time and have shown that sometimes it will happen. So welcome all today. And there were many things, as always, that I wanted to chat about. And for those of you who weren't paying attention, I just did 3 hours on Bob Lonsberry's show out of Syracuse, New York, talking about New York State stuff. This will not be as much New York State unless you guys bring it up, because it is, as always, an AMA. We will not have a show tomorrow night, but we will have an AMA tonight. And if you know you're going to like it, because you will, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You know what to do. Do it now if you don't mind. Look, I bug you all the time because it matters. The more you click, the better chance I have of this being shown someplace else, because sadly, YouTube only shows my stuff to people who have subscribed. If they have not subscribed, YouTube does not show it to them and doesn't care. So you have to be the one who clicks the like button so they're moving around. And of course, repost this or reshare this if you can. It is very important that you do so. So please do that. And of course, make sure that you have subscribed. If you happen to be watching this, you get lucky enough to watch this and you're not subscribed, sometimes YouTube will decide, you know what? You're a bot. I've just decided this, and unsubscribe you. So click that subscribe. And when you're done, click all notifications. That part matters, so you will let you know that I'm yapping again. And when I'm yapping, you should listen, because I make sense and I'm right. The question I'm asking here is Trump and his policies, is he actually making things more expensive? And do people care? And are people angry? And does it matter? And what I would argue is, kind of a broken record. I keep saying this, and I've been saying it for a year, and I keep saying it, which is he has communicated so poorly, it has come back to bite him so many times. This is simply not the Trump of 2016. It is not. For those of you who don't like Trump, well, there you go. For those of you who like Trump, you know I'm right. This is not the Trump of 2016. And his communication has failed him and come back to bite him so many times. And this is yet another example of it biting him again. This is absolutely what politics has to be about. It has to be about good communication, not just good policy. And people go, but the policy matters. Communication matters even more, particularly if it's tough. And he has done a terrible job of it. Larry, how do you know that? I'm going to show you right now how I know, because his new tariffs he put in, again, I didn't like the first tariffs. And the number one reason why I didn't care about the first tariffs is because he never explained his actual policy. And then he changed it every fucking 10 minutes. Yes, terrible communication on it. Look, can you have a tariff policy that can work? Yes. Did his? No. And then it's the worst part. He didn't explain it behind anything. Nosy, thank you so much. His agenda is to keep the e-files buried. Yeah, even if it isn't, I think you might be right. But even if it isn't, that's what it looks like. That's his fault too. That's his fault too. So let me explain how I know. This is CNN talking about how people do not like his tariffs. They don't.
The United States has entered into a new era of Trump tariffs. After the Supreme Court threw out many of the tariffs he levied last year, the president has gone a new route to reinstate some of them. There are tariffs now in place on Brazil, tariffs announced on Canada. Others are sure to follow. So how do voters feel about all this? With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten. So, what are voters saying about tariffs?
I feel like I'm in bizarro world, okay? Because the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and hope for a different result. And
that's actually not the definition of insanity. That's the definition of humanity. People are hardwired to do exactly the same thing again and again and hope for a different result. That's normal. It's the people who are oddballs who don't do that. The crazy people don't do that.
And that is just simply put not been the case with President Trump in terms of the train has left the station and the American people have spoken. They hate these new tariffs. U.S. on new tariffs.
They hate them. Why? Because they never understood what the first ones are for. They didn't get it. Andrew says they were tit for tat. Tariffs are meant as tools for leverage to bring about fairer deals between the U.S. and its partners. That's what was sold to us. Kinda. Did we get maybe? That wasn't clear at all. Ask the average, ask 10 people why we had tariffs. You'll get 5 different answers, and 5 people go, I don't know. That's crappy communication. Looking at these polling numbers tells you no one gets it. And you can't blame the average voter. Go, they're dumb. It's too bad. Then they're dumb. You're the president of dumb people then. Then speak to them. It doesn't matter. You have to be able to communicate to them, right? Mike says, considering how the MSM is demonized, stop. You always go to mainstream media. No. People listen to podcasts. People listen to me. They listen to you. They listen to him. People listen directly to what Trump says. They see his posts. Everyone talks about his posts. It is his job to communicate through the mainstream media. He had the MSM against him in 2016. That's a cop-out, Mike. That's a cop-out. He had the same people. They hated him more in 2016. They hated him more in 2020. And he still got through. Nope, cop-out. The mainstream media hated him the whole time. And he was able to get through. This time he didn't. That's his fault. That's a cop-out, Mike. Adam says, on Sean Hannity, all I heard was socialism is bad and evil. Literally preaching to the choir. Anyone under 40 is no communism is. No reference point me at 33. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. No answers, Adam. Thank you for that. That's what I spoke about. Absolutely. John, don't fall for that. It's hard to get a mess out when the mainstream media and liberal leaders lie about you. First off, it's the same in 2016. It's not like they liked him in 2016. It's not like they liked him in 2020. No, don't let the right-wing pundits tell you get you to believe this shit. It's not true. Not just that. Half of the mainstream media is owned by the right. Fox News is still popular. Talk radio is still popular. So it's not true. Adam just said it. On talk radio, they're talking about how great bad socialism is and communism is. They could be telling his story, but they're not telling a story because he has no story. You're telling me, John, if he was actually communicating well, that Sean Hannity and all the rest wouldn't actually just sit there and say, let's tell his story. Of course they would. Of course they did. In 2016, 2020, they did. The reason why I get bothered by this, and I said the other day, and I'll say it again, the Republicans were supposed to be able to protect us from the DSA. They were supposed to be able to. They're failing miserably because of exactly this. So who's going to stop us? Stop the DSA. Right now, nobody. Carlin said it when she was on the show. She's right. And if you consider yourself on the right, John, I know Mike does, then stop apologizing for poor performance and demand better performance, as I am doing. Demand better performance, as I am doing. Instead of going, well, it's this and this excuse. Bullshit. He had the mainstream media against him in 2016 and 2020. Just, if not worse. If not worse. Yeah. So you got to get past that. You have to get past that. And he's not. And this data proves it.
Could you go back to November of 2024. Look, 52% of Americans favor him right after Donald Trump's election, 48% opposed. But then we entered.
Yes, again, because at that point, he had the coalition. Remember that? He had the coalition. He was communicating through them. Not only did he have the coalition, he had a mandate. Yes. All right.
The real world in tariffs, and Americans saw the effects of them. What happened to the opposition to new tariffs? Up like a rocket. We're talking 63% of Americans now oppose the idea of new tariffs compared to just 37% who favor it. So the bottom line is this. The American people have seen what tariffs have done to the economy, and they simply do not like it and have turned against them.
Okay. Oh, you guys saying they're lying and lying. John's saying it too. No, but you can blame the people and understand that lie about what you said your plan was. Doesn't matter. And be very clear. It doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because people are hurting now. And fair or not, this has been every president. This is not just Trump. This is every president. If shit's not good when you're president, you get blamed. If shit's good when you're president, you get the benefit from it. Look, Clinton made out like a bandit when it came to all the benefits the internet gave. He didn't do anything. I mean, people who don't know that, right? I mean, he gained a heart, but you do. That's how it works. When stuff goes well, you get the benefit. That's how the president works. When stuff goes badly, it's your fault. Period. The economy is not good. And anyone who says it is either living in a fantasy world or is personally doing very well. The economy is not doing well. And Trump going, we're doing great, just makes people angry at him. That's all it does. And I'm going to show you some data that shows there are people who are still pro-Republican, but are turning on Trump because they don't like him personally, is what he's saying. And again, John, they lied about his plan in 2016 too. They lied about his plan in 2020. This isn't a new thing. So if you know they're going to lie about it, you've known for 8 years, you have no plan for that? That's your fault. That's your fault.
The President of the United States, who, as I said, it feels like bizarre world because from a political standpoint, it is absolutely insanity that keeps trying to do something that the American people clearly very much do not like.
Bizarre
they don't like it.
Also because there is a red sun, but that's another.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
All right.
Superman.
And the president's approval rating, how has it been? Or how has it sort of mirrored the tariff situation?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, the tariffs were what set Donald Trump off on a pathway to nowhere, on a pathway to a presidency that is a dead end. Take a look at this. Trump's negative net approval rating. Every single poll.
Now, here's the funny part. Just because people don't like Trump, be very clear on this, doesn't mean people like Democrats. Democrats will make, this is their propaganda. Democratic propaganda is, now we're going to conquer the world. They're not. People don't all of a sudden love Democrats because they're mad at Trump. And there's data that shows that even though there are some people who don't like Trump and they're mad at him, they're still going to vote Republican. Like they haven't become Democrats. They're just mad at Trump. And I get it. He gets the blame when things don't go well. You can say that's not fair or it's how it always works. And you should know that and act accordingly. Phil, thank you for $2. Kudos for not swearing about judges on regular radio. I was good. I know when I'm on regular radio, I got to be good. So, yes. Phil says over on Rumble, $1. Do you think the Trumps are the modern Romanovs? That they underestimate the communist threat and pursue imperial interests that harm the average person? Stephen Miller is the ghost of Rasputin. Ooh, I like that idea. I don't think it's the Trumps that will be forward with you. A lot of people like to blame Trump and like he's the bad guy in everything. I think it's systemic. I think the system, to include Democrats, I think the system doesn't want to win a war. The system doesn't want to solve anything. And even if you want to, you get smashed and hammered by the system in every way, shape, and form. I think the system is the Romanovs. That makes any sense, if there's that, right? Maybe. But I mean, that's what I would, that would be, but hold on. But I guess you're talking about kind of having a royal family. You know, maybe it's a stretch. But I could see your thought process in the Trumps because of the family being a royal family. I could see it. And it would depend on what happens with his kids. Do his kids begin to run for office? If they do, and so far none of them have shown the desire to do so at the moment, but who knows? If they start running for office, then I might agree with you. If they don't, no. I think I'd just make their money and move on. They'd be more like the advisors versus the Romanovs. So, but yeah, Stephen Miller probably is the ghost of Rasputin anyway. He's the ghost of Goebbels. I've expressed my opinions of Mr. Miller. I'm not a fan of Mr. Miller.
Since March 29, 2025, that is over a year ago. In fact, days in a row, it's 482 days in which every single poll that meets CNN standards for publication, Donald Trump has had a negative net approval rating. Well, what happened right around March 29, 2025? All polls just before Liberation Day 2025. It was the tariffs. It was the massive implication of those tariffs, the implementation of.
I go back to my point. This is why I know his communication was bad, because of this.
But that, of course, many of them got overturned, that turned the American people once and for all against Donald Trump in his second.
Yep. Andrea says, what if Trump had a plan to eliminate income tax with strategic tariffs? Would it help promote his manufacturing? Well, yes, U.S. manufacturing. Here's the point. He did float that and then walked away from it. You remember? That's another point. He floated the idea and then walked away. All right, if he had done that and then not floated, but said, hey, imagine for a second, and you make a very valid point. Imagine if Trump had said, hey, I have a plan for tariffs. If you heard what John said it was tit for tat to make better deals. But Mike knows that's not true. The tariff plan was to actually help what you just said, U.S. manufacturing. Well, John thinks X and Mike thinks Y. Perfect example of crappy communication. And you remember eliminate income tax. Which one was it? Literally, this chat proves my point. This chat proves my point. If that was his goal, why didn't he put it out there? Hey, guys, here's my plan. In 3 years, 2 years, 10 years, whatever is his plan, this is what's going to happen when this is how we put his tariffs in. And then by X year, we're going to either remove income tax, lower income tax, whatever. Or by this time, we're going to improve manufacturing. He didn't say any of that. And if he did, it was just sporadic here or there. That's why Mike knows something and John knows something and you know something. We should, in the perfect world, all know what the plan is. And then we can fight the plan. Oh, I don't like that plan, or I like that, whatever. There is no plan. And you might go, well, of course it is, Larry. Well, it doesn't matter if no one gets it. It's irrelevant. That's the point. If no one gets it, it's irrelevant. Then Nosey's right. It's the whole plan is to cover up the e-files. That's the plan. How are you going to tell me I'm wrong? You can't, because he can't give you a plan. I know I'm upset. I know. But I look at what the left and right are giving us, and it's both shit sandwiches. It's the same. It's the Democrats communicate nicer, no doubt. They've communicated nicer. That's true. It's still a shit sandwich. It's got some extra spice on that sandwich. Got no spice on Trump's. JJ over on Rumble says, the modern Romanovs, company CEOs, e.g. the dead one shop. Oh, good one. I like that, JJ. See, I'm going to go with JJ on this one, Phil. I'm with him. The modern Romanovs might be the aristocracy that we have right now. Maybe that's it, right? Many feel the impact of cronyism, private bureaucracy versus the benefits of actual capitalism. True. I think JJ's on the money here with this one. He goes on to say, capitalism is a Marxist term. To be honest, free markets require moral people. Adam Smith's prequel to the Metal Nations. Valid point. I'm going to go with JJ on this one, Phil. I'm with JJ on this. That's over on Rumble, by the way. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go there. So.
Term as president.
Went underwater just around Liberation Day, been underwater every day since. All right, how does the rest of the world feel about this?
Yeah, okay. Yep. So the rest of the world doesn't like it either. I mean, that's not much of a surprise, right? But still, it's notable, right? Net approval rating Trump on tariffs. Brazil, 51 points underwater. Canada, 65 points underwater.
And what you notice, and what I'm talking about in a second, what you notice is with all these other issues, one of the big problems is I see that our friends aren't helping us that much when it comes to our war in Iran, are they? They're not.
Mexico, 73 points underwater. Trump has been underwater so long on tariffs, both here and abroad, that the bottom line is this. It's almost like he is the Little Mermaid. He just doesn't even come up for air anymore.
And this could have a political impact.
Absolutely. Adam says, and unfortunately, even should the tariffs prices increase will be pushed to consumers. Manufacturing is a race to the bottom for lowest price, and consumers are drowning in debt. They don't care. This is a very valid point. But again, could it be done, Adam? Yes, but it must be comprehensive, meaning that if you do this with tariffs, it can be done. Okay, great. Then how are you going to increase manufacturing? Piece one, which takes years. How are you going to lower or increase our debt? right, to make sure that works too. How are you going to support consumers, to your point, who are currently drowning in debt, for them to deal with this issue also, right? Can it be done? Yes. Was it done? No. And if it was done, no one saw it. So again, I'm not a tariff fan, but if you're going to do it, it needs to be comprehensive or it will fail as it has, right? It has to be. Yes. Andrew says, if they didn't help us in the Iraq war, what makes you think they'd be willing to step up to join us in Iran? Many of them did. A lot of them helped us in Iraq and in Afghanistan, heavily in Afghanistan. There were dozens of countries that physically sent troops that, and not dozens of casualties, probably about a dozen took casualties. Like they actually got killed or shot or wounded. Many of them did in Afghanistan, some in Iraq. We did have some in Iraq. The Brits came to us in Iraq. Many of them did. So, and if you go back to Bush era, oh my God, they were throwing themselves at us for that one, for the first Iraq war. So yeah. Phil says, Chappelle, sometimes friends help saying nothing. Well, I'm not sure that's true. Not in this case.
In the other direction the president wants in some of these countries.
Exactly right. Take a look at Brazil. 51 points underwater there. Well, there's a presidential election going on there. Top chances to win the Brazilian presidential election. Lula, who President Trump does not like, he has now a 63% chance. While, in fact, Bolsonaro, who Trump very much...
This is another key piece. Trump is still very popular within the Republican Party. True. Still popular. Still pulls a lot within the Republican Party. But once you go to mainstream, not so much anymore. He's losing that mainstream.
An ally, 25% chance Donald Trump is killing his allies with these tariffs.
Harold Denton, thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny.
We have a lot of news this morning. We'll be right back.
There we go. So that's that one. I just want you to see that piece. So you saw how that was working. It was an interesting piece on that. And so let me grab some more comments if I can. I'm gonna grab another one after this. And this is the Iran war after that one. Mike Glass says, will tariffs bankrupt America? No. Long term, they help. They won't, because there's no plan, dude. How do you long term help when you don't have a plan to fix manufacturing? You don't have a plan to earlier point, support the American consumer, who is now in massive debt, both credit card debt and massive student loan debt. You have no way of supporting those two so they can go through it long term, but your consumer isn't there. How do you do it where AI right now is trashing jobs? 8 million jobs gone and never coming back. Those jobs aren't coming back, and we don't even know when the next ones are coming. Is this disruption a year? Is it 20 years? I don't know. AI will hope maybe when I have Lars in next week, maybe he'll have more answer to how long that disruption will be. But there will be disruption. What if the disruption is 10 years, Mike? How you make that? You can't do that. America won't put up with it. And here's the point. If you don't communicate it well, America won't put up with it. They will simply end the plan. They'll just stop it. They'll just go, no, we're going to vote out everyone who wants tariffs and vote in all the socialists. You're seeing it already. That's going to wind up happening, again, if there's no plan, and it goes away. So you can tell me the plan all day. If the American people can't pay their bills, they will just stop it. Done. At one point, they go, no, and it ends. So it doesn't work. Long term, it can't work without a plan. There's removing the IRGC help. Never going to happen. I don't know why you keep thinking that. I don't know who's telling you that. It's not even close. They're not even ready to. I know that the word is they keep coming to try to make deals with us. Utter horseshit. Utter lie. Iran is not dying to make a deal. They made it already. They already signed an MOU. They're ready. They're done. Oh, you don't want to? Bye. They ain't running. Not true at all. As they're still bombing us. Not true at all. Yeah, never. Not a thing. Not going to happen. Fantasy. The primary source of any of global terror. The primary source of global terror against us is Wahhabism. Where's Wahhabism come from? Oh, right, Saudi Arabia. Not from Iran. Not from Iran. Short-term politics is not long-term results. Also true, but the people have to believe it. So you're right, but the people have to believe it. If you tell me If you start making me do push-ups and my chest hurts when I do push-ups, and I don't understand that I'll get a stronger body, I'm going to stop doing push-ups because it hurts. I have to understand I'm going to get a stronger body from doing push-ups, or I'm not doing push-ups. I'm just going to hurt myself. So if you don't communicate to me, the American people, this is a long-term plan, they're going to stop it. We're seeing it already. The people don't want these tariffs. They're not going to work. When the judges, and they're going to say he can't do it, no one's going to be like, you can do it anyway. They're like, judges said so, stop. You already see it. The business is already fighting him. They're already suing him. The lawsuits already were set today. There are lawsuits against Trump today. And you're telling me these tariffs are going to work? It's not. It's not. Will food be more expensive? Yeah, by 10% until October. No, by more than that. They're almost already doubled since last year. As long as Strait of Hormuz opens before May 2027, and it will Americans starve? No. Is it worth it? See above, yes. Okay, not worth it at all because it ain't going to work. So because it's not going to work, not worth it. We've discussed this. American political system physically does not have the infrastructure, does not have the culture to win a war. We have the best military in the world, which can blow up anything, can destroy anything, conquer anything, and we can't win a war. That's because our politics is utterly broken. Utterly broken. We're never going to win this war. It's not a thing. We couldn't win Afghanistan. We couldn't win Vietnam. We couldn't win Iraq. We can't win Iran. Not because our boys can't go in there and wreck shit. Of course they can. Because we can't. We saw it already. We already screwed up the MOU. We already screwed it up. I don't know why you keep believing this, Mike. The data is in. We can't win a war politically. It's impossible. Whether it's true. Did you watched how Biden got out of Afghanistan? Did that not make you want to vomit? You think this is going to be any better in Iran? I don't know why you believe in it. I don't know why you believe in it. There's zero evidence of working. Did you see how we got out of Vietnam? Wasn't that embarrassing? Getting out of Vietnam was an embarrassment. And did we even get out of Iraq? I don't know if we even got out of Iraq. Are we still in Iraq? Maybe we're still in Iraq. Who the hell knows? It's not worth it because it can't work. In theory, are you correct? Probably yes. In practice, never. Never. This is just going to be another horrible forever war if it is that walk away disaster as it always is. Michael's going to say, ultimately, the question is, can America live with a short period of discomfort to get a significant better world of time? I say America can and will, complaining every second along the way. I think America can. I agree with you. I'm not fighting you on that at all. Can. They won't. Why? Because we've been suffering for so long. If this was the beginning of the suffering, yes. How do I know that? Vietnam. America was doing very well prior to Vietnam. Well, we stayed in Vietnam for 10 years or more, depending on how you count, but at least 10 years. We were in Vietnam, losing people, maiming people, wrecking people, spending money. We stayed. You're right. Why? We were doing great. America was doing wonderful in the early 60s. So we stayed. We were doing great in the 80s as a country. Doing great in the 80s. So we go to war in Iraq, whatever. All good. We were doing decent before. We've been broken since 2009. 2020 devastated this country. We haven't recovered. And you think now we're going to do this? This is the worst time for this. We need a Reagan type guy to come back and go, morning in America, let's make money, blah, blah. We don't need war now. This is the worst time for it. You can see it already. Again, the polls show it. The lack of response shows it. The evidence is everywhere. We are not prepared for this. Just not at all. So, yeah. Did I finish your thing? I don't know if I finished your comment. I do want to finish your comment. All right. Yeah, we did. Yeah. America won't complain away. They'll vote socialist. They won't complain away. They'll vote these guys out. That's what they'll do. They'll vote them out. They'll wind up voting socialist. Or they'll go back to whatever, the next rebel that pops up, whatever that rebel is. Is it a Bernie Sanders type? Is it a MTG type, whatever? Whoever that person, I don't think it's those people, but whoever that person is, that's what will happen. They will not put up with this. They won't. You saw what perfect example. You saw it with Bush after we got pissed off about the no new taxes and the Iraq war. We got Clinton. You saw it. He was a one-termer. We already saw it. So, yeah. Shelley says, Trump doesn't take anything away from me. Kathy Hochul has diverted federal funds from the Federal Traumatic Brain Injury Waiver Program. You saw most of that from, yes, I agree. Local people steal a whole lot more, Shelley. You are right. All right, let me grab a little bit more if I can. This is the war that Mike is talking about. Here is the data on this one. Again, bad.
We do appear to be in full-scale fighting again. I wanted to know, how do Americans feel about it this time around versus where they were at the beginning?
Yeah, historically unpopular. That's the phrase that I would use.
Historically
the war was unpopular to start off with, and it's become even less popular. You could see it right
now. Here's the worst part. It was unpopular up front because his communication was garbage and because we're already hurting. If we weren't already hurting, we could withstand it. We're already hurting, right? Nosy says it. Mike, you about to get into my skin with your question and answer up there. This economy is a disaster. It's going to get far worse, 10% higher groceries. She is correct. Nosy is correct. Yes, that is accurate. The economy is a total disaster. If you don't see it, you either have assets or doing fine. Everyone else sees it. Food has doubled in price since last year. Almost doubled. Depends on what you're getting. Something's doubled, something's not, but almost doubled for most people. That's food. Everything else is going up. So tariffs? No. Businesses are going, we're losing small businesses everywhere. Everywhere. Gyms are going out of business. Left and right. Still, they're still suffering from the lockdowns. They're still going out of business. They can't hold on. They're trying to hold on. They can't. They're going under. People are going out of business left and right. Again, 8 million jobs gone. And we don't know when they're coming back. AI will figure it out whenever it figures it out when the jobs come back. But it ain't today. It ain't next year. It's going to get way worse. And the last thing it is the Strait of Hormuz being closed, which, by the way, we can't even open up. The greatest military on the planet, and we can't open the Strait of Hormuz without putting Marines literally in danger of being bombed. But he told us what Trump said to us, his words, we could take it anytime we want. We could move in anytime we want. That's what he said, his words. I could do whatever I want. That's what he said. We can take it whenever I want. That's what he said. They have no Navy or no Air Force, whatever. Okay, no Navy, no Air Force. Okay, you can take it whenever you want. Then do it then. Tough guy, do it. You won't. And if he does, watch the death. And here's the worst part. The worst part. When there are more dead Marines, he will use that as a way to keep fighting. How do I know he already did it? He's talking about reprisals. They killed our people. So now you're bombing them. Does he just take it? Yes, in his mind, just take it because we bomb you because we're America. People don't do that. Did the Afghanis? Oh, wait, no, they didn't. They didn't. Did the Vietnamese? Oh, wait, no, they didn't. Will the Iranians? No, they didn't, and they won't because these are actual nations. Iraq is a made-up nation by the British Empire. Iran is not. It's Persia. It's been around far longer. Afghanistan been around since Alexander the Great. Persia since before the Romans. Vietnam since ancient China. These countries don't surrender. It's not a thing. It's not Iraq. Not Venezuela, made up country by colonists. Iraq, made up country by colonists. These are people who've been around for thousands of years. They're not surrendering because you bombed them. And if you had any anthropologists around you, one of them around you, they go, that's not going to happen. They'll never surrender. You'll have to kill all of them, like 93 million of them. They're never going to surrender. That's not how it works. Guys get me so upset sometimes. All right. Anyway, Nose goes on to say, I know I'm also sick of Trump spewing his war victories and war is over. Yeah, it's lies. It's not over. The war is over when the Iranians say it is because he invaded their country or bombed their country. When it was over when the Vietnamese decided or when they leave. Yes, that's what happened to his reflecting pool. It's filled with stuff from his own. Yes. Adam says, Trump really must not have a brain when it comes to communication. Seriously, just why are you doing the tariff thing again, knowing the midterms are here? Well, this is the problem. It allows for what Nosy says to be believed, which is, oh, he's doing it for distraction. There's people now saying, Adam, he's doing it because he's distracting from the NDAA. That's the other thing. Now, here's the problem. The Democrats are, not Democrats. The left-leaning pundits, which is who they actually are, the left pundits are going to say this. It's distraction because he loves Israel and NDAA, and it's distraction because the war. They're always going to say that. So how do I know what's true? I don't, because no matter what happens, they're going to say that because it's always Trump's fault. Trump's always evil and bad. So whatever. They're always going to say that. But when you communicate so poorly, it becomes believable. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. Yes. Oh, okay. Adam goes on to say, when Larry Sense makes dollar bills. Oh, thank you. Your says, Larry Sharpe, Governor New York. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yep, absolutely. Nose says, yes, more expensive and hell. Yes, I'm livid. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Right here, okay. Washington Post poll, Trump's Iran war net approval rating. In early March, look at this. It was way down there at minus 13 points. Very rare for a war to start off underwater on the net approval. Yep. That is approval minus disapproval. But look at how far down we are now, right into the Red Sea. 40 points underwater, according to the Washington Post poll. Look, I tried to find every single poll I possibly could. I believe this minus 40 points represents the least popular poll in terms of Trump's net approval rating on the Iran war, the entire war so far. That. So as I said at the beginning, it started off unpopular, and now it is even more unpopular, historically unpopular, 40 points underwater.
Well, since you're talking about history, put this in some historical perspective.
Yeah, okay, let's put it in some historical perspective. You think the war has been worth it or not worth it? And why don't we take a look here? We can compare Iran in 2026 to Iraq in 2006. And keep in mind, the Iraq war by this point in 2006, at this point in the midterm cycle, it had been going on for 3 years at this point. We're only a few months into this war.
This is not good. If this war goes this long, this is going to be Vietnam Part 2. Trump's people, if any of you watch my show, I don't know if you do or if you don't. For your sake, you should. You probably don't. I know Kathy Hogan will watch my show, but I don't think you do. If you do, tell your boy to come home. Tell your boy to use his magic powers. If anyone can do it, it's him. Tell your boy to declare victory, come home, and fix your house. I hope one of you is watching. Tell your boy to come home, declare victory, and fix your house. We have worse problems. We have worse problems because no matter what happens in the Strait of Hormuz or whatever, if we start walking down to Medicare for all, which is the next step, if we start walking down this, every city in America has a socialist mayor, which is the next step, none of this will matter. None of it will matter. It will all go away. It's all a colossal waste of time. If we don't fix our domestic issue, the rest is useless.
Think the war was worth it. Iraq in 2006, 58% said it was not worth it. And again, that was 3 years into that war. Look at this now. You think that 58% was high in terms of not worth it? 68% of Americans, more than 2 in 3, say the Iran war was not worth it. Just 28%, less
Look
than
how
a
terrible
third
that is.
of Americans.
This is not good. D says, thank you for the $5. Mark K bashed third parties, then asked them to change to Republican so they could vote in primaries. Thoughts? He's anti-Massey now, even though he lies and says he's not. What? He's anti-Massey now, even though he lies. Oh, okay. Okay. Mark K is just a Republican shill. That's all he is. He doesn't have any ideas or plans or anything. He's a Republican shill. So he just insults third parties because he doesn't know any better. So of course he insults them. All he knows is insults. That's all he knows. And then become Republican. Why? For what reason? What are Republicans going to do? What have they been doing? All Republicans are doing across this state, not even a state, now across the country, which this is why I'm so livid. Because now across the country, all Republicans just go, the communists are coming. That's all they say. Now they've gone to weakness. Now, if you watch Republicans say, you got to support him. This is why what he's doing. He's showing his weakness. You have to support the Republicans. Otherwise, they're going to impeach Trump and the Democrats will take over. Okay, but what are you going to do for me? Nothing? Same old thing? Literally, that's what Kamala Harris said, didn't she? I said this a month or two ago, maybe longer. The 2026 Republicans have become the 2016 Democrats. Trump's crazy. He's a fascist. He's a misogynist. He's a whatever. This insulted Trump all day long, and he walked his happy ass right to the presidency. Didn't have one answer. And then when Trump won in 2024, what did the Democrats do? Not a goddamn answer. Trump's evil, fascist, democracy's on the line. That's all they said. Trump walked his happy ass into the presidency again. What are Republicans doing now? It's communism and blah, blah. Same thing. And what is going to happen? Democrats going to walk their happy ass right into the White House or into whatever. Walked it right in. It's the same thing. The sad part is each side thinks, well, it's my guy, so that makes it okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So he is just talking trash. He's only anti-Massey because Massey doesn't like Trump anymore. That's all. He would love Massey if Massey was Republican. He doesn't care. You think Mark Kaye gives a shit about any of that? He doesn't. He doesn't. He's an ideologue who just finds reasons for his guy to be right. That's all he does. He finds reasons for his guy to be right. He ignores any data that shows his guy being wrong, any data that shows the other guy being bad. He talks about the other guy being bad, and then finds any data that supports his guy being right. They're a dime a dozen. They're all like, I don't know, they're all like Sean Hannity light. They're the same guy. So yeah. Phil, thank you for $2. What if the Houthis shut the Red Sea and Hormuz is closed? The Houthis are trying to shut the Red Sea. The problem is Houthis aren't powerful enough to completely shut it. Their goal has to be that they make it so expensive that the insurance companies decide to not insure. The Iranians are pretty powerful when it comes to rockets. They have a lot of them, and they're making more. Most people don't know this. The Iranians were making like 50,000 freaking drones a month and sending them over to Russia, like a lot. Well, now they're not sending them to Russia anymore, which sucks for Russia, but they're not making it for themselves. The Iranians have an actual drone manufacturing, industry within their country, which still makes drones. We have not destroyed that. We may lie and say, but we have not. It's just more propaganda about it. We come out with it. It's not true. If we had destroyed it, they wouldn't be droning us, and they are. They're still missiling us and droning us. The Houthis don't have that. So if they can't get more stuff, it's challenging for them. I mean, they do manufacture, but to nowhere near the extent that the Iranians do. So it's a lot tougher for them to close the Red Sea. It would take them a long time to do so. Now, the other thing is, will Hezbollah do it also? Will they try to close the Suez Canal? Now, that's very challenging for them. I don't think they can do it, but that will be their other goal. Now, if the Turks get involved, they could absolutely shut it down. If the Turks get on. Now, the Turks wouldn't do it directly. They would fund someone to do it if they would. This is one of the reasons why you see they're trying to make deals with Turks. If the Turks turn against America and they fund people in Syria and or Lebanon, they could theoretically also close the Suez Canal and not close it, but bomb enough to where insurance companies won't do it. That is possible. Is it likely? I think not, because people know what I know, and that will be devastating. I don't think that will happen, but there's a fear of it, and that's what they'll stop it. The Turks in a very good spot right now because they can do, what if we happen to drop, 40,000 drones into southern Lebanon? They could do something like that. So if they shut the Red Sea and the Hormuz, oh my God, we're already in trouble. You're going to see gas prices explode. This is not going to go well for Trump if it doesn't stop it. It's not going to go well. His long-term plans have been a failure because he hasn't communicated them well. The plan isn't working at all. And the thing is, what's going to happen is when the people go against him, he's finished. At one point, even the Republican Party will go against him at one point. They're not there yet at all. They're not there. But at one point, even that will happen. The problem with someone like Trump is he uses his force of will to get things done. It works very well for him. Not a bad deal. But once his force of will fails, he cannot be seen as weak. Trump cannot be seen as that because Americans love a winner, and Trump's been a winner, and that's why they're behind him. When Trump's not a winner, it doesn't matter what Mark Kaye says. In fact, Mark Kaye will turn on him. Mark Kaye will turn on Trump. Guaranteed. Guaranteed D. Mark Kaye does not give a shit about Trump. He cares about Mark Kaye cares about Mark Kaye. And most of these guys do. They care about themselves. They just hate Democrats. So the next guy who shows up, they'll be that guy. Whether Rubio, Vance, whoever. They'll be that. He was always my guy. They'll do that. And they'll forget everything they said bad about him in the past. Just like Vance forgot about every bad thing he said about Trump. Just like who's the guy who died? Graham. Just like Lindsey Graham said, all bad stuff said about Trump. You forgot all that. Forgot it all. That never happened. They'll do the same thing. They're all the same guy. So, Phil, thank you for $2. Is it too late to reconstruct the Ottoman Empire? I think Erdogan will be very happy to do that. Yes. Johnson says, gifted one Sharpe member. Thank you for gifting membership, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes, guys, you want to help out? I do appreciate it. So, yes. All right. John says, talking to Mike. People are short-sighted. Yeah, you have to be able to communicate this, guys. You just have to. You should not be giving Trump a pass for this. You should not be giving him a pass. Mike says, Trump doesn't care about the midterms. Never did. He has an agenda, which is long-term, and not having favor of establishment isn't that important. I think you're right on the first part, but two parts. One, not having the favor of establishment is critical. They will stop it. Literally, this will happen his first term, man. You don't have to discuss this. His first term that he was trying to create this in his first term. You know, so do I. He was trying to. The establishment is what stopped him. The deep state is what stopped him. So literally, what you're saying is incorrect. Yes, he requires the establishment. They run things. Yes, he requires it. If enough Republicans turn on him, he is finished. If enough do. I'm not saying that's happened. But to act like it doesn't matter, that's fantasy. Of course it matters. It's politics. Of course it matters. One thing Mom Donnie's doing great is keeping the establishment just happy enough. Brilliant. Trump better do that too. If he doesn't do that, he's getting nothing done. Phil says, gifted one shot. Thank you for gifting membership, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. We're grabbing the net piece. All right. Doc says, Trump don't give a, he probably won't live much longer to suffer the consequences. Maybe. I mean, I think it's possible, right? I've been saying this job is affecting his health. There's no doubt. The problem, as I always say, is all the left-wing pundits say he's dead tomorrow. So you never know how bad it is, but there's no doubt he's in his 80s. This is a tough damn job. Of course, it's affecting his health. Of course it is. We just don't know how much. That's it. We don't know how much. All right, let me grab a couple more of this if I could.
Now say the Iran war was worth it, even less than the 40% who said the Iraq war was worth it. Again, at this point, heading into the 2006 midterm cycle, of course, we remember what happened in 2006. Republicans lost both the House and the Senate. And at this point, this 28%, even.
But I'd be very clear. I don't think that means they'll lose the House and the Senate. I do think they'll lose the House. The Senate could be. I think it's, to be forward, it shouldn't be that bad. The Senate, they should keep it. They should. But I don't know. Yes, I don't know. Nosy says, what happened to those fat $5,000 checks the tariffs supposed to give us? I remember that. Again, brought it up, went away. Again, this is my point. This should have been clear. It was not. Captain Morgan says Trump doesn't worry about public understanding. He just wants to bluff and bluster in the media to back up his negotiating tactics. I don't agree with them, but I think that's what I think. Well, look, the reality is it's worked in the past. I mean, look, like love him or hate him, it's worked in the past. Again, I said before, if he can pull out, and it looks less and less as time goes on, if he can pull out a victory out of this and come home the champ, everything's done. Like he's won. He's the hero. America loves a winner if he can do it. So far, that's not been the case. But I agree with you. I think he wants to bluff and bluster. It's worked for him in the past. If it works again, well done. He's good to go. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see him making those changes. I don't see it. So remember, guys, click the like button. I ask all the time. Share if you can. I love it. And of course, subscribe if you have not subscribed. All of that stuff matters. Please keep going. It does matter.
Lower, and this 68% saying not worth it, even higher than the 58% who said this about Iraq 20 years ago. And so this is a very, very bad number for the president. I think a lot of Republicans in Congress don't like this number one iota.
No, look.
And that's the issue. The question is, will they turn on him? At the moment, no. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know. It's a big if. If enough turn on him, he's in trouble. At the moment, he isn't. He isn't right now. Mike says, it's true the MSM has demonized tariffs. Yep. Promising recession, not suppression. We're in one already. Trump communications did not help. Yes. Yes, but all mainstream media did have impact on compression, and CNN is still left no matter the owner. Left, but nowhere near as left. They've been moving towards the right for the past 6 months. They've been making a shift. They're nowhere near as left they've been. I'm not saying they're not left, but MS now has tripled down. And I'm not mad at them. Like, they were like, no, we lefties, that's it. They have tripled down. I mean, CNN's been making that shift. If you watch, they've been doing it. It's slow. I'm not saying that there, but I don't know if you, maybe you don't watch CNN. I do. They have been making, it's clear they're moving. Crystal clear. They are moving. That is true. They are moving.
This is a notable difference. This was a devastating year for Republicans in the midterms there. And I'm really surprised, frankly, that the disapproval is that much higher at this point. All right, who are these people? What is the partisan makeup of people saying that they don't think the Iran war is worth it?
Yeah, the 68% not worth it. Just a devastating number for Republicans. What is driving this number? Well, it's two groups that I think are just really interesting.
This is the most important piece. I get tired of being right. Independence. There's more independents in this country than there are Democrats or Republicans. Trump had them in the palm of his hand. He had them in the palm of his hand.
Iran war is not worth it. Look at this. Among all independents, it is 77%. More than 3 in 4 of all independents say it's not worth it. How about GOP-leaning independents? These are independents who say they actually lean Republican. 63% of them, more than 3 in 5, nearly 2 in 3 say that, in fact, the Iran war is.
This is devastating for Republicans in general. Now, for Trump specifically, but Republicans in general, it's hard. Yes. Adam says, it's so difficult for someone that isn't in retirement trying to start a family to support Trump. Trump's policies and communication have been directly to assist old voters and those with wealth. That's true. That's most establishment people, but yes, that's true. Yeah, you're not wrong. Andrew says, AMA, if you were governor of New York, what do you do about the rising number of flocks and ALPRs on the streets? Would you mandate a moratorium, on newer contracts for cities with flocks? Would you push transparency? No, I would say they are. I would say they are unconstitutional. They break so many of our rules and regulations, and I would say they should go. If I could, I would end the contracts if at all possible. I would just stop them. And then if I wouldn't, I would just say straight up, and it sounds hard, but I would say it, blanket pardon for people who remove them. I'm not joking. Blanket pardon. That would stop it. But that's vandalism. You would not get charged with that aspect. Anything else you did on that property, you would, but you'd not get charged. Get rid of them. Done. Oh, make that, they go away. That ends it. A blanket pardon, they're gone. Because there's enough guys who would just be like, all I need you here, and they'll be, it'll be down. You swaps will be down. Yeah, they're wrong. They're bad. They have to go. And if the system can't stop it, I will. As governor, I would just stop it. Blanket pardon ends it. There's enough guys in this state that would just start trashing them. And when I'm saying blanket pardon, so there is no consequence for your actions on doing that, who would build them? Who would insure them? No one would insure them. Problem solved. I'll let the free market fix that with my vandalism. So yes, there we go. So easy. All righty. I hope that made sense at least. So, all righty. Let's see here. John says things are much worse under President Biden, but the mainstream media told us the facts were wrong and we have our eyes. Yes, but that's happening here too. You're not wrong, but it's happening here too. Right? Under Biden, they said everything's wonderful, vibes, blah, blah, blah. Utter garbage. Not true at all. You're correct. And what's happening now? Trump's saying we're the hottest country. He's doing a Biden. He's not telling the truth. Milei told the truth. Milei said stuff's going to suck for the first year. And when it sucked, he didn't go, it's great. He went, no, you're right. It sucks right now. Trump ain't saying that. Biden didn't say it either. It was bullshit when Biden did it, and I called it out. And it's bullshit when Trump does it, and I'm calling it out. You should not give Trump a pass on this. He's doing what Biden did. It was bullshit when Biden did it, and it's bullshit when Trump does it. I called it out both. You heard me say it. I've insulted Biden 1,000. His presidency was terrible. Terrible. Communication garbage. Vibes. So it was. Trump's playing the same game now. Is it okay because it's Trump? No. No. It isn't. So, anyway, I hope I answered your question, Andrew, on that one at least. All right.
Not worth it. Again, as I said at the beginning, this is a historically unpopular war. It's a war that is becoming only more unpopular. And while President Trump won't be on the ballot come November, a lot of Republicans in Congress will be, and they cannot like the look of these numbers, especially with a group GOP leaning independents who historically
That's
vote
the problem.
Republican.
They need these voters.
They need these voters. They need these
Correct.
voters. They need these voters. And right now in the Iran war, they most certainly don't have these voters. Okay.
All right. That's the issue. Absolutely true. So, all right. Let me head over to JJ. JJ is over on Rumbling for $2. AMA question. Thoughts on the Shiloh Hendricks verdict? Shiloh made out on this one. She raised a whole lot of money. She was able to gain some popularity in certain types of people, which she may be okay being popular with. So I think she actually wound up making out on this. Even though I think it's for those who don't know, Shiloh Hendricks was convicted, I think, of a misdemeanor, if not mistaken. Basically, the concept is, or the idea is that she called a kid the N-word, and because of that, she's a criminal. Now, that's kind of true and kind of not true. The problem is because this wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for the crazy wokeness that happened in the past. If this was just some woman who said some horrible thing and made some kid feel bad and she got slapped with a misdemeanor, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared. Yeah, so she's a bad person who said bad words. They gave her a misdemeanor. Stop. No one would have cared. The problem is, there's been so many attacks on our First Amendment. There's been so many attacks with the word police. You got to say this, you got to say that, you got to act this way, that this has been exploded, just insanely exploded. So my thoughts on it, I think it means nothing in the long term. I think short term, she made out okay. Like she made a bunch of money off this and she kept being popular and people she wants. Good. I think it's a bad precedent that someone can't use the N-word. You can use words, the N-word, to include that, and that someone can be convicted of a crime. If the crime was an assault on a child, or making a child feel a certain way, whatever the case, that there was some threat to a child, if that was the charge, I get it. It really was a hate crime, which wasn't physical, and that's a problem. So it's not a great precedent, but for her, I think she'll be fine on a personal level. It's not a good precedent, and I think it wouldn't have mattered if it wasn't for the past. This goes back to what I'm saying today. Why is Mike's earlier point? Can America survive it? Yes. Not after what's been happening. Not after 2009 and the lockdowns. No. Could this have been just a thing that happened? Yeah. But not after all the wokesters. No. This was exploded because of them. So I hope that makes sense, at least, what I'm saying. So, All righty. Let's see. Andrew says, granted, you can't stop all this from coming to fly. Yes, I can. With my blanket pardon. They'll stop. They'll stop. Done. That's all. My blanket pardon does stop it by default. So, yeah. All righty.
Canada. Oh, no. That's what's going on here. You know, it's like a bizarro Harry Houdini. How do you make an alliance disappear? How Canadians view the United States as threat or cautiously. In 2024, it was just 26%. Ally or friend, 73%. Now these numbers, inverse, flip around the rosy. Look at this. Okay, now 74%. Look at that, up nearly 50%.
Terrible. Bronna says, the Republic is dead. The U.S. is Israel's B? No. Why? Because many American servicemen will not shoot fellow Americans. The IDF will. Wait until the UN blue helmets show up. I don't think that's true. I don't. I think what's happening with this, was it 219, whatever, after the NDAA, assuming it goes through, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't, but assuming it goes through, I don't think that's going to happen. But I think we're linked. This is the savviest thing. I disagree with it, to be very fair. I think it's a terrible idea, and it's embarrassing how we're supporting it as a country. As an elite Senate and congressman. It's embarrassing that we're supporting it. But I don't think it's as bad. It's terrible, but as bad as people say. It's not like we're merging. That's actually not true. But what we're doing is we're making us so connected. But by the way, people will say, we've done it before. No, we have not. That is horse shit. That's not true. We have never integrated this much with any other nation. Have we done joint projects? Yes, multiple times. Have we done joint X and joint Y? Yes, multiple times. That's happened often. Have we ever integrated like this? Never. This is a first. Not just that. No other nation on the planet has ever integrated them with other people, with other nations, the same way we're doing with Israel. So this is a precedent, not only for us, but for the planet. Have other nations often done joint deals? Yes. Okay, that's not 100% true. There's been something similar to what we've done, but within the EU. So I got to correct myself. What we've done or are in the process of doing with Israel, similar things have been done within the EU, but even they were timed. So there was stuff similar. So outside of the EU, no other nations on the planet have done what we're doing. And what you hear them say is things like, oh, you know, they're going to help us to do X. They're going to help us to do Y. What? That's bullshit. Propaganda. If they were going to help us make stuff, why aren't we buying their products? We don't. They buy ours. It's utter horseshit. It's the intelligence issue that we want. We want the Mossad. That's what it is. It's not about, that's not what it's about. I mean, it's about Mossad. It's not about, you know, oh, they're going to help us with patents or whatever. Utter horseshit. Absolutely not true at all. Not at all. We'll just pay with the patents. We do it all the time. So that's not a thing. And they don't have the manufacturing base for that stuff. We do. Well, ours is weak, but ours is better than theirs. So yeah, that's not a thing. It's the intelligence. And the problem is now they are linked directly to our intelligence. There are specific people that are now, there's job titles created for Israel that we've never done before. That's a first. So now once you open up that job title, once you make that Pentagon thing, does it ever go away? Never. Never has, never will. But here's the thing that's smart for Israel. Bibi Netanyahu said it. He goes, we don't want to get any more money from America. We're going to stop. He's not lying. He doesn't want foreign aid. He's not lying. He doesn't want it anymore. He now wants direct money from the DOD, which no one will be able to tell how much is going. That's what will actually happen. The DOD has not passed the audit in what? How many years? How many decades has not passed the audit? No, it's a black box. It's a black box. We just throw money at it. So now we will throw billions of dollars into it. Billions will go to Israel. We won't know how much. We'll never know how much. No one will ever stop, because the second you say, you're an American. Oh, you love the terrorists. They'll say stupid shit like that. Well, you love the terrorists. Why do you love Al-Qaeda or whatever? Well, you love Hamas. That stupid shit they'll say. So you can't tell how much money is going to Israel, and it'll be billions. So why get foreign aid? Why get foreign aid when you could have direct access to our intel, direct access to our weaponry, and we can sell it to you whenever we want and just give it to you? We don't have to sell it to you. We can just give it to you and no one will know. No one will pay attention. No one will be able to audit it. How? They can't audit it now. So if I'm Israel, brilliant job. I'm all in. If I'm Netanyahu or his people, this is the greatest thing ever. I will be throwing so much money at this. If they if they drop $1 billion bribing our congressmen, and they probably spend that much money, I would guess, $1 billion, they'll make that back in 1 year. Easy. They'll make 10 times that in 2 years. Easy. Why wouldn't you drop $1 billion bribing our congressmen and senators? Makes total sense. I'm not mad at Israel for this. I'm mad at us. Why are we taking it? Why are we accepting it? It is a terrible deal, and blue helmets aren't going to show up. They won't have to. Remember something. In World War II, we had about 2,000 total generals at max, generals, admirals, at the highest level, when we had 12 million people under arms. We had 2,000 generals when we had like 12 million people under arms, right? Now we have about 1,000 generals. We have less than 2 million. Whole lot of generals. They all make money. They ain't out there fighting in the fields. They're all admin generals sitting in the Pentagon making money. That's what they is. It's a massive grift. Our officer corps is a bunch of grifters. Our generals are a bunch of grifters. I wish it wasn't true, but that's what it is. Israel's on board. They're bribing them too. I wish I was making it up. There's no need for that. They'll just give the orders to do whatever the generals say. There's no need for blue helmets. No need. They'll have all the intel. They were saying already, didn't they tell Trump this pickaxe mountain or whatever that lie? Remember that? Whatever that thing is? They're already giving them false information. Now it'll just be normal. They'll control us via information. There's no need for you on blue helmets. I wish that was the problem. That's not. So, all right. John says from Google, President Donald Trump has suggested the revenue generated from tax imports could eventually reduce. Agreed. I know he brought it up. So what's the plan? Him suggesting it could is wonderful, but then where's the plan? There we go. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm agreeing. He did say that, but okay, where's the plan? Andrew says to John, let's see how those tariffs can help pay even part of our debt. Where's that plan? Yes. Matt says, just popped in to see Mike try to defend Trump and the economy. He always does. Mike does not, he does not disappoint. He does. He does. You knew, I knew, we all knew, of course. He doesn't disappoint. Yes. No, she says, I've never avoided to give Trump credit where it's due. I agree. I have. I'm with you. You've seen me do it. You see me do it. I've never liked him, and I'm not TDS. I do have epi file. Yes, and a lot of people do. I do also. And it goes for anyone who supports the PD file. I don't care how rich. You're not wrong, Nosy. You and I are in the same boat there. Absolutely. Becky says, how is he issuing new tariffs if the tariffs were restructured by the Supreme Court? I know. Yes.
Points now say Canadians say that the U.S. should be viewed as a threat or cautiously the ally or friend down through the floor, down the St. Lawrence River. Now just 22% of Canadians say they should view the United States as an ally or a friend. That is down. What is that? 51 points. Canadians not liking the way things are going under the administration of Donald John Trump.
Just 22% of Canadians
22%.
view the United States as an ally or friend, and they like everybody.
They like everybody.
All right. So how do they view the president in terms of, compared to other presidents?
Yeah, okay. So Donald John Trump is the driver behind this drop in the ally and friend from 73% to 22%. An unbelievable drop. You rarely see drops like that over the course of just a few years. And take a look here. Canadians' views on the U.S. president in 2024. Look at this. Confident, 52%. Now, not confident as we go from Biden against.
I'm going to move that forward if I can.
Difference of nearly 90 points.
I'm going to pass the Canadian piece.
Worry sign, at least compared to history.
Here's the piece I want to bring up here to be very fair. I want to try to be fair. While people are mad at Trump, it doesn't make them Democrats. I want to be very clear. I say it, but I want to make sure it's clear. It doesn't make them Democrats, right? Okay, people like Bronner's quote. Let me find Bronner's quote here. Okay, Bronner says, it is curious to note that when for reasons of conscience, people refuse to kill, they're often exempted from active military duty. But there are no exemptions for people who, for reasons of conscience, refuse to financially support the bureaucracy that actually does the killing. Apparently, the state takes money more seriously than life. Carl Hess. Absolutely accurate. No lies detected. 100% accurate. Yes.
Because I want to take it back through the history machine, and I want to note, okay, House National July, CNBC, Washington Post poll average, midterm years. This is the generic ballot, right? Where were we back in 2006 when, of course, Democrats would go back on to win the House? They were up by 12 in an average of those two polls. How about 2018? They were up by an average of 10 in those two polls. Look at where that average is now.
Look at that. People still don't like Democrats. People like Democrats less now than in 2018 and 2006. So I want to be clear. All you Democrats who are like, we're going to win now. People still don't like Democrats. They're mad at Trump. That's true. It doesn't make them Democrats. So just keep that in mind. Mike says, the journalist didn't explain crap to you. He just put you in an environment and withstood your complaints. Then you improve them. Yeah, but you know you're going to be a Marine. And you voluntarily signed up to be a Marine. And you knew you were going to be a Marine. Big difference. Way difference. You and I weren't drafted, dude. There was no draft when you and I were around. You and I volunteered. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. We knew that when we got out, we'd be Marines. Yes. Americans aren't volunteering for this shit. And they don't know what the hell's going to happen at the end. Not the same. Not the same.
Well less than half of either the level of 2018 and 2006. Way down there. Yes, they're ahead, but they're ahead. I have to shrink down on the screen. They're ahead by only 4 points.
Absolutely. Democrats still suck. So they haven't. Democrats still suck. Just saying it. Still sucks. Matt says shrimp went up $2 straight up per a business owner Larry Johnson knows. Cited explicitly the lack of diesel. Yes. Yes. Ron says, none of this is worth it, Mike. We waged war on the lie of them being 10 minutes from nukes to open a strait that was already open for the wage war. True. No lies detected again. Yes. No, that's absolutely true. Yes. Andrea, thank you for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. Phil, thank you for the $5. Canada's is a big part of the Adirondack economy. That's a lot of signs are in French. It's bad if people from Montreal won't spend at Stewart's. This is true. Most people don't know this, but New York is a border state. People don't think of it as a border state, but it is. And Canadians do come down. If you go anywhere in North Country, even parts of Western New York, you will see many businesses have American and Canadian flags. It's a common thing. Many parts, particularly in North Country, because we're closer to Quebec in North Country. You'll see a lot of places that, you're right, signs are in French or people speak French. True. Phil's not wrong. So as he pisses off Canadians, it hurts New Yorkers. We are a border state. North Country borders Quebec, right? So it's more French speaking. Buffalo borders Ontario, so it's more English speaking. But we're a border state. We do have a border with Canada, and Canadians come over and spend money at Tim Hortons and Stewart's. Both correct. I do love my upstate New York.
Which is significantly less than what we saw in 2018 and 2006 when Democrats took back the House. So
Matt says there's no military solution to Iran. True. There was none to Afghanistan and none to Vietnam. True. Absolutely true. They're the same. There's none. When you have a nation that's been a nation for thousands of years, unless you are prepared to physically go in and conquer them, that is the only way you do it. Physically go in and conquer them. And here's what I know for a fact. America does not have the stomach for that. And Trump even said it. We are not prepared. Could we do it? Yes. I want to be very clear. Could we conquer Iran? Absolutely. America is the strongest military on the planet, bar none. China has a powerful military. Can't touch us. Russia has a powerful military. Can't touch us. We have the most. We could bring all our soldiers over, bomb everything. Marines could land. The army could go in and hold. They can't really attack. Marines do all attacking, but they could hold the land. We could conquer Iran. Possible. It would take millions, and I mean that, millions of soldiers, Marines, airmen, and sailors, millions of them that we don't have right now, but could we draft them? Yes, we could. Could we get them volunteers? Probably not, because Americans hate this war. We could draft them, send them over, bomb them, conquer every city, every town. Could it be done? Yes. It will take millions of soldiers. We will lose tens, if not hundreds of thousands of those Americans in doing so. And it will take several years. But could it be done? Yes. But we're never going to do that. That is a fantasy world, which is why there's a military solution. So I want to be clear. Is it physically possible? Yes. Would we ever pay that price? Never. That's not a thing. Not a thing. So I agree with you completely. Andrew says, maybe an Iraq intervention is imminent in 2027. I'm speaking from my, I don't know what that is. Desire? I don't know. But yeah, this may trigger Iranian civil war. I'm sorry, Iraq civil war, not Iranian civil war, Iraq civil war. It might, because they may want to jump on Iran's side. Dead serious. That might happen. That would be terrible. Yes. All righty. Matt says, the important note to February 27th, the Iranians were floating, handing over the nuclear material, and it was easily a huge political win for the better JCPOA. Instead, we murdered their pope the next day. Here's the sad part. The sad part. The best thing that we have negotiated, America has negotiated in the past 80 years, is a JCPOA. And we think we can negotiate some great peace treaty. The best thing we've in the last 40 years is the JCPOA. That's the best thing we've negotiated. And we think we're going to do this? What? We couldn't finish the Abraham Accords. We're still trying to get them we're about to give Iran nukes to get them to finish the Abraham Accords. That's how bad our negotiating is. We got to give the people who did 9/11, we have to give them, the people who've without question killed more Americans on American soil and off American soil, killed more Americans than any terrorist group in the world. Is the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia. We have to give them nuclear weapons so we can finish the Abraham Accords. I wish I was making that up. The best thing we've negotiated in 40 years is the JCPOA. Maybe you could say, maybe Carter doing the PLO thing in Israel. Maybe I'm stretching with that. Maybe that's better than JCPOA. I can see an argument for it. How about that? Maybe, but that's it. And we somehow think we can negotiate this? Do we even have a competent State Department? Does it even exist? Or is it just deep state garbage? Is the entire State Department just CIA operatives? I think yes. I think the entire State Department is just CIA operatives. Because we can't do anything. So yeah. Horrible. Adam says, quote from the movie Lincoln, if in pursuit of your destination, you plunge ahead heedless of obstacles and achieve nothing more than to sink in a swarm, what's the use of knowing true north? Okay. All right. Andrew says, there is no exit strategy in this New World Order geopolitical struggle. The U.S. stays as long as the contracts to the manufacturers there. Ooh, interesting. I like that idea. Yeah. All righty. Doc says it. Beans, bullets, and bullion. I like that. Nosy says, I will vote for anyone who is not a Republican Democrat. See that? That's what I want to hear. Nosy, you just made my night. You made my night. That's what I want to hear. Yes. Braun says, we saw it with LBJ as well, Larry. Johnson wouldn't get us out of Vietnam, and we got Nixon. Yes. Yes. This is the same thing. Yes. Everyone thinks because it's my guy is different. No. It doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. You are correct. It does not matter. Roger, thank you for the $5. If I were white, facing a population decline, the last thing I would do is encourage my children to go over there and unalive for another country. Oh, interesting. Well, I think your point's a valid one because the majority of our military forces are white, and the majority of our elite forces, which will be used to make the invasions, would be white. The majority of them are. I'm not trying to be racist. It's just true. The majority of our elite forces are white. I know Marine Corps is mostly white. I was a Marine. Mike knows too. It's mostly white. You will find the most elite force in America are still white to this day. But there'll be people of color dying too. That's for sure. But no, you're right. Why would you? Why would you? Good point. I wouldn't either.
Said this is this is a warning sign. While yes, Democrats are ahead, not by anywhere near the margin they were in prior wave years.
Because 4 isn't 10.
No.
And it's not 12.
No.
It is not. Absolutely. Roger was going to say Reagan was terrible for labor and yes, however, a lot of people don't like Reagan for different policy, X policy. Why? I get that. I'm not mad at you for thinking that. A lot of people do. What Reagan was perfect for was America felt like we were dying. We felt like we were failing. If you were alive during that time, you remember how it was under Carter. We felt that malaise he spoke about was real. Americans were feeling like we couldn't do anything. The loss of Vietnam was terrible. Nixon collapsed. Nixon having to resign was terrible. Carter screwing up with Iran, taking our people. America was in a bad emotional spot. Reagan was great at making us feel like it's morning in America again, which meant we could go back to doing things. America's in that same spot right now. Right now, America is in that same spot we were at the end of the Carter administration. Iran is kicking our ass. We're not winning. They're not winning either. It's a stalemate, which means we're losing because it's a stalemate and we're the attacker. So we're losing because of that. So we're not winning in Iran. We feel like we're losing. There's inflation, high gas prices, feeling like people don't like this war. This is the 70s again, right now. What pulled us out emotionally? It was Reagan. That's true. Where's the Reagan now? We could use him. Whoever that person is. It's not freaking Gavin Newsom. It's not that, right? Where's that Reagan? It's not Trump. His communication shot. It's not Trump. He's not 2016 Trump. It's not him. Where's the guy now who's going to show up and be like, guys, we got this. We can rebuild. Guys, it's morning in America again. We could do this. We could do this. Where's that guy? And that's what I'm saying. So I hope at least, I know you disagree, Roger, but I hope you at least understand what I'm saying, even if you disagree with it.
No, they taught me that back in pre-K, that 4 is not 10 or 12.
And not only that, but 4 might not be enough with all the redistricting.
This is the key piece. Mike's gonna love this part because this shows what he's been talking about in a minute. Doc says, take a chill pill, Larry, about the bust the blood vessel. Yeah, and yeah. Bruno says, I've been saying for a long time, and I might disagree with me, but everything to do with Iran is blowback. We saw it in 1953, and the Iranians did not forget. You're 100% correct. But neocons can accept that. Neocons cannot accept that. They are wrong. Neocons are always wrong. I say, whenever it comes to foreign policy, neocons are always wrong and always have an excuse. Every time. They are wrong every time, and I mean 100%. And they always have an excuse, 100%. It's always like, well, it's because, but you were wrong again. Bronner, neocons are always wrong on foreign policy, 100% of the time. And they always have an excuse as to why this time they're right. No, they're always wrong. So, yes.
That's exactly right, Johnny B. So this isn't just, hey, you know what, we want to lead by 8 or 10 or 12 because we want an even larger majority. You might not even get the majority at all if, in fact, the House popular vote ends up by 4. Because
this is the part that Mike's been talking about. Just because people are mad at Trump doesn't mean they won't won't vote Republican, and it doesn't mean they're going to vote Democrat. The problem you're going to have is people are going Republicans. Less of them are going to vote. That's the issue. That does not mean that all of a sudden everyone becomes Democrats, Democrats win. No, I still think they're going to win the House, but it's not going to be a blowout. If you just watch Trump's polling, one could assume that. That will be a wrong assumption.
Take a look at this. Okay, the Washington Post CNBC poll lead, it's 4 on average, right? But what about needed to control with redistricting? You need probably a 3 to 4 point victory nationwide in the national House vote in order to get a House majority. You are right on the edge with this 4-point lead in the.
True. Brona says, I've been looking for a left-leaning podcast with a chat forum that we have here. Hasn't happened yet. Just monkeys slinging shit at anyone with a different opinion. Yes, the left's worse. I know people who are left get mad at me, but the left is worse. The right's bad too, but the left's worse. Every time, and I mean every time, I go on a left-leaning podcast, it is just insult, 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 insult. I don't even say a word. It is a list of insults. Sometimes it's so bad that the hosts don't want to say what's in the chat. I have it because they're embarrassed on how bad their chat is. That's happened more than once. Like, ugh. Everyone insult. It had nothing but insults, just insults. Remember, the left dismisses insults. The right distracts. It's because that's what they say. The left insults. The left dismisses. The right distracts. That's how, generally speaking. So yeah, you're right. The left's terrible at this. They just insult. Once in a while, you'll find the host will talk and be able to chat with you, but the chat will just be horrible. Yeah, because while the host will sometimes be good to you, the way you make money in this game is blood sport. I hate it, but it's true. The way you make money in this game right here, Bronner, is blood sport. If I wanted this chat to grow, I would just either get a lefty or a righty on and just insult them all day long. And people would watch. I just become a left-leaning libertarian, insult all righties, become a right-leaning libertarian, insult all the lefties. And go, you see what Austin Peterson doing it now? Austin Peterson just become blood sport. Now he just insults left-leaning people. That's what he does. He now calls himself a right-leaning libertarian, whatever that is, and then he just insults left people. And he's growing. It's how it works. I just don't want to be that person. Right? I just don't want to be that person. But that's how you make money. It's true. Mark K, same thing. Mark K says too, same thing. He just insults lefties and he makes money. That's how you make it. HVAC says McConnell, dead or alive, or Schrodinger's McConnell. It's short. It's the same as Schrodinger has a lot of stuff. Schrodinger's McConnell, Schrodinger's Strait of Hormuz. It's open, but it's also closed. It's all of them. Yes, absolutely. No, he says they insulted him all the way to the White House. And he had a smile on his face the entire way. Yes. Captain says, Larry, do you think the Trump accounts are a sneaky step towards privatized Social Security? I wish they were. I don't think they are. Now, can someone else use them as a step? I hope so. I don't think they are, but I think it could be used by somebody to do so. I'm not mad at them. I think it could be used to do so. But no, I don't think that's the purpose. I don't think it's what they're trying to achieve. I don't. So, yeah. All right, then we grab that one. Andrew says, not as talented as Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity made all his money off of Rush Limbaugh. Sean Hannity made his money off Rush Limbaugh. So Matt says, the Bab al-Mandab, that's the other one by the Houthis, is much smaller. All it takes is 1 or 2 ships to get hit to shut down. The Houthis are only blockading oil meant for the West. Yeah, it's just harder for them. It's just harder for them. That's all, right? So you're not wrong, but the Houthis don't have the same infrastructure the Iranians have. That's the issue. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, the poll is closed. Oh, is the poll? Hold on. The poll is closed. Let me check with the poll. I didn't check the poll. I'm sorry. I checked the poll. I'm sorry, guys. You guys did a poll. I wasn't paying attention. I probably should have been, and I did not. Hold on. Can I find it here? Is the poll here? Did I have it? No. And I can't find the poll. There it is. The poll. Yes. Okay. The poll said, okay. If the Sharpe Way podcast starts starts taking the weekends off, will you be sad, but get while Larry needs breaks, 50%? I watch other Sharpe Way content if there's no live, 20%, as you all should. Happy, it will make Monday special, 20%, nice. Mad, how dare you take weekends off, 7%. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But thank you for the poll, guys. I appreciate it. Yes. All right, I'm grab some more of this if I can. Phil, $2. Veterans sent to colonize Iran, like Greece and Afghanistan. Could work. Could work. Absolutely. Phil goes on to say, long-term conquest requires settlement. Rome knew. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Could we do it? Yes, but it would take so much time. So much time. But again, could be done. We have the power to do so. We don't have the will. Roger, thank you for $5. Okay, well, I can make the same argument for FDR, who was great for labor, but like Reagan, terrible for freedmen. I think that is a valid. Look, I think FDR was a terrible president, and I can do an entire show on how bad he was. However, Roger, you're correct. FDR motivated a lot of people. That nothing to fear but fear itself. He made Americans feel like they could come back from depression. You're not wrong. I'm agreeing with you on this. When it came to making Americans feel good, FDR was great. That's true. Reagan was great. Would I consider FDR a great president? No. But was he what we needed maybe to get started? I mean, he shouldn't have stayed for 80,000 years. I wish he did so much bad stuff. I mean, he did so much bad stuff. But you're not wrong. We're in agreement. I think you absolutely could do that, 100%. You could say that. We were in trouble after the Depression, right? The grapes of wrath. We were in trouble. Even after Prohibition, we were in trouble. I think FDR was a very charismatic president. Hands down, he was. And he was what America needed to make them feel better. You know, how we're going to win World War II and blah, blah. I mean, yes, I'm agreeing with you. As much as I don't like FDR, you're still right. Hope that makes sense. So, all right, a little bit more of this.
Average of the CNBC Washington Post polls, right on the edge of even getting that majority. And that's why I said this is a very worrisome sign. This is troublesome for Democrats because despite all of Donald Trump's unpopularity in the polls, they do not seem to be building an advantage that guarantees them the House or anything close to a guarantee. It's very close, at least if you're listening to CNBC and Washington Post.
Well, okay, but given that the president is so unpopular, you just brought that up. Why is it that Democrats might not be doing better?
Yeah, that's called, I think I know what question is coming next, and I'm going to lead right into it. Why is it? What is going on? Well, just take a look at 2024 Trump voters in 2026, because I think
this is the issue. While some voters, a lot of independents, are mad at Trump. Some Republicans are mad at Trump, too. I'm going to act like he has 100% of them. Some are mad at him, too. They still Republicans. They don't all of a sudden go, well, I'm pissed at Trump, so I'm voting for Mom Donnie. That's not a thing. I mean, I'm sure someone's pissed off. You find one guy who does that, but that's not a thing, right? So that's the issue. The problem is Democrats have no answers either. And if you remember, Schumer said it. So did Carville. They both said out loud, don't do nothing. Wait for them to fail. That was their entire plan. It was open. They said the quiet part out loud. They said, no, we're doing nothing. Wait for Trump to do something stupid, and we'll just sit back and collect. That was their plan. What they didn't count on was the DSA. The DSA said, oh, you're going to do nothing? Hold my beer. And the DSA's been organizing, and the DSA took over. That was the brilliance of the DSA. Credit where credit's due. So the answer is, will the DSA have answers? If they will, the Republicans are in trouble. If they don't, they're not. That's the issue, right? And right now, there's a civil war within the Democratic Party. Worst time for Democrats to have a civil war. Worst time. The Democrats should be, in a perfect world for a Democrat, should be taking advantage of this. Trashing Trump and how bad he is and the economy. And they should have, here's the answers. To Roger's point, there should be an FDR right now who's stepping up and giving the answers, and we're going to do Medicare for all or whatever is the thing they want to do. That person's nowhere. And AOC, there's no FDR. If the Democrats had an FDR now, they would trash Republicans. If they had one, they would trash Republicans. They don't have that. They're fighting their own civil war. So there we go, Roger. We both talked about FDR in a positive way. So there we go. All righty. Let's see here. I think we grabbed that one. Okay. Did we cover on that one already? Good. You guys are going back and forth a lot. Let me do a last minute.
This is really important. Okay, Donald Trump's net approval rating with them is plus 66 points. But how much is the U.S. House margin? Republicans lead amongst these same voters by 87 points. In other words, there is a...
This is the weirdest thing. This is one of the first times since Trump's been running, since 2016, where average Republicans outpoll Trump. It's always been the reverse, right? Trump has always outpolled them. He pulled them. This is how unpopular Trump's become with independents. Again, average Republicans still like Trump. But in reality, of the entire country, people like Republicans more than Trump. And that's a new phenomenon.
A chunk of 2024 Trump voters who right now aren't so hot to trot on Donald Trump, but are still very much in the Republican camp. And that to me is the worrisome sign for Democrats because
100%. Democrats, if I was Democrat leader, I would be finding my next Obama or Clinton right now, because now's your shot. They're nowhere near that. They can't button their pants up. They're so screwed up. Larry says, Andrew says, I don't know, Larry, the Senate's relatively close. I agree. The Senate might go. Might. I'm not saying it will. I still think the House goes. Mike thinks I'm wrong. Mike and I bet $5 on this. I think the Senate will be close. Might go, might not. I think the House still goes. I still think it does. And I think the reason is not because so many people become Democrats. I think Republicans are not motivated to vote. And I think turnout for Republicans will be low. That's my gut. And I've seen Democrats. They are excited to vote. I think turnout will be the reason, not Republicans voting Democrat. Some will be mad. Again, I'm going to be clear. There are some. You will find some pissed off. Oh, I'll teach Trump and they're going to go vote Democrat. Some will. But I think the biggest issue will be motivated Democrats versus not motivated Republicans. That is what I think will be the answer. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll owe Mike $5 at the end of this. I don't think so, but I might.
How do you convince those voters to necessarily go over to you? Because it seems to me that their baseline opinion is I want to vote Republican, even if I don't like Donald Trump. And that's a very tough voter to convert, as opposed to independents who, could go either way.
Roger said, person at Stop and Shop walked by me when you said 2026 Republicans became 2016 Democrats and laughed. Yeah, I'm not wrong.
These are people who have shown an affinity for Republicans in the past and voting for Donald Trump in the past. And right now they're showing that exact same affinity to vote Republican in the midterms. And that's why this race is much tighter than I think a lot of Democrats would wish it would be, given.
That's my point. Democrats think this is a done deal. It's not. It's not. It's not a done deal. Right? This is what Mike is talking about. Right? I think he's correct in the point where this is not a slam dunk for Democrats at all. It should be. But they got nobody. So, I mean, the best guys they have are terrible. What? Hakeem Jeffries come on. Come on. So, yeah. Yeah. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Mike says, Trump is the same approval at the same time in his first term. DSA is far more prominent in hurting Dems Republic. That keeps House and Senate red. You can owe me $5. Senate, maybe. Not House. You can owe me $5. That's what I'm saying. I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. So, and the biggest reason is Carville, as crazy as Carville is, it doesn't make him wrong. And here's where he's right. It's the economy, stupid. It's always the economy. It always is. Matt says, drop site, breaking points, Tucker, Jimmy Dore, Douglas McGregor, etc., way more informing than the mainstream media. Yes, true, but they are also biased too. But they're biased via ideology, not corporate. So that does make them a different form of biased. So just know that. And again, I go a lot, right? I watch a lot of this stuff. I spend hours watching this stuff. I watch chunks here, chunks there. And as I told you, I have multiple YouTube accounts, so that each one gives me different views so I don't sit in a bubble. And yeah, you're right. I will watch Tucker or Jimmy Dore or McGregor or Breaking Point or whatever the case may be. I will go back and forth. So yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. Mike says, AMA, Hochul is all in for protecting illegals in violation of federal law and endangering the public. Blakeman is busy using a puppy that wanted to leave to beg for support. Orange man bad is crushing New York State. True. I'm not sure what did you have a question linked to that one? Or that was just you wanted to say some stuff? You're not wrong. I will touch this piece. Hochul is trying to, and I think relatively effectively, be able to act like she's anti-ICE when she's actually not. Because that's the popular thing for the Mamdani people. They're very much anti-ICE. As you saw, I showed you the other day, there's guys who want still defund the police, right? They still exist. For those who don't know, right now, New York State, they're working kind of with ICE, which is why you don't have that many big issues with ICE. I just talked about this on a radio show this afternoon, right? They talk about how ICE is destroying whatever. That's not really a thing. Generally speaking, and how do I know this? There was just, Mike knows this. I'm telling the rest of you people, it's not for you, Mike. Is just recently, it was yesterday, this week, Hochul and James literally said, hey, you 12 police forces, end your agreement with ICE. They all had agreements with ICE. Now, you can like or hate ICE, whatever you think about ICE. Here's what I know to be true and is true. When ICE walks in to an environment without local police support, bad things happen. And everybody knows this. This isn't like a thing that no one knows. And what happened in Minnesota was terrible, and the Democrats knew it, and on purpose did not negotiate with ICE and cops, and bad stuff happened. Yes, that's how it works. New York State said, we don't want bad stuff happening, so let's negotiate and make sure local cops are working with ICE. Makes total sense. NYPD works with ICE. Makes sense. If you're going to have ICE in your city or town or whatever you are, work with NYPD. Work with your local police force. It makes sense. 12 of them already done so across my state, which is why you don't hear many bad things happening. It happens once in a while, or worse, Hochul makes stuff up. For those who remember, I know Mike remembers. I'm not talking to you, Mike. You noticed already. Hochul just made stuff up. There was some story, she's lied. There's some story that like ICE came into a factory and put the white people on this side and the brown people on this side and arrested all the brown people. She actually said that publicly. I did a show on it. Utter lie. Never happened. Imaginary. She just said it. Why? Because it's not that bad here in New York. It just isn't. So she had to make it up. Well, so what are they doing now? To Mike's point, they're now making a new office of, I forgot what it's called, office of whatever it is. And this office is going to, of course, a lot of friends will get money. They're going to put millions of dollars towards it, hundreds of millions of dollars towards it, so that people can sue ICE and stop ICE. And she demanded that those 12 police forces end their agreement. Now, what's going to happen? We have ICE in New York State. We do. When they end their agreement, what's going to happen? Well, then they're not going to work with the police force. So what's going to happen? Bad stuff. We know this. It's on purpose. Here is the thing that bothers me most about this, Mike, is they know that if they end those agreements, someone's going to be hurt. Some American citizen is going to be violated. They know it. And when it happens, they'll go, see, ICE is evil. You set this up. That person will be sacrificed for their agenda. Or people. What if it's multiple people? They'll be sacrificed for their agenda. And they know it. This is the horribleness of it. Anything to make sure the orange man is bad. Somebody's going to sacrifice for this. But it'll be Trump's fault. Because it's always Trump's fault. So it will be Trump's fault. Yes. So, yeah, I get your point. I agree. It's terrible. So, yes. All righty. Bronna says, I don't think Larry has addressed any of my comments tonight. Hasn't even mocked me. AMA, you mad, bro? I did already. I did. But am I mad? Yeah, but not at you. But yeah, I am mad. Robin said, I would give Trump a pass to leave class for the bathroom. I wouldn't give Trump a pass. He doesn't deserve anyone to excuse the way he screwed things up, even worse than they are. He is messing up. He is. He's messing up. I agree. I don't see a way out of this. If you watch that guy Pape, Professor Pape talks about the escalation scenario, he's following it literally exactly. Yes, like exactly. Yes. Alrighty. Andrew says, that's horrible. She said the word, assuming she did, but that's nowhere near criminal. And you beam to it. Yes. Yeah. Alrighty. Where was I? Brona says this lady got tried and convicted before the guy who killed that girl in public transit, who everyone watched, has been tried. He's tried. Oh, yeah. Well, didn't they say he can't? He's like too crazy to go to trial or something. So, yeah. Matt says no two governments have ever done this kind of integration. True. Well, close again. Close in Europe. Close. But yeah. All righty. Andrew says we all know the real reason why the push for integration. So, yes. Matt says we're headed into an AI surveillance state because the country's going to shit and got to keep the politics in line. Sadly, absolutely true. And I've said that is my prediction for the future. Yes. No, he says, so the U.S. really thinks we have the Mossad. Laugh my ass off. We will see how that works out. We haven't seen genocide yet, but we're about to. No. That's what they want to have the intelligence, and they want to link them. We're already very linked. But yes, Matt says direct access to the Pentagon money, and we can't audit perfect. Yes, true. Brona says sell or gives irrelevant. Israel has already stolen nuclear tech. Yeah, and so does others. Yes, Israel has stolen and given to others. But Bronner, they're our greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, or whatever story they want to tell you. Yeah, absolutely. All righty. John says 90% of the major network media coverage President Trump during his first 100 days in office was negative. Negative press for Joe Biden does not exist. Yeah, you're right. But it's been the same the whole time. That's my whole point. You're not wrong. But it was that bad in his first. That was that bad in 2015. 2015, it was that bad. It was always that bad. You're not wrong. I'm just saying it's always been there. That's all. All righty. I think we grabbed that one already. All righty. Matt says Canada is after right himself. You're not wrong. Yes, you're not wrong. Cajun says USA was not invited to the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. That's true. For those who know, Gordie Howe was a very popular hockey player years ago. They're over us. Yes, and the bridge is now between, is it Detroit and Hamilton? Is that right? I think it's what it is. Yes. John says terrible deal and should not be giving money to any foreign nation. Yes, agreed. 100%. I don't like it at all. I think we should end it. At all. We should end it. I hate this idea that we're doing this. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. We guys, a lot of guys going back and forth here, so I'm going to try to grab any other AMA piece so I don't miss any. Robin says Reagan should have taken care of Iran after the hostage crisis. We should have left Iran alone a long time ago. A long time ago. That was our biggest mistake. You just left them alone a long time ago. That was our biggest issue. Leave the Iranians alone. If we had left them alone 20 years from now, from that time, they'd be a trading partner. Larry, how do you know that? Vietnam. I use that all the time. Matt says the irony of going to war to stop a country from making nukes, they're not making and don't want. And now by our actions, guaranteed we'll get. Yes, I said it already. I said this last year. The Iranians will get nuclear weapons. Guaranteed. 100%. They'll get them now. Why wouldn't they? We've taught them it's the only way. We've just made sure they will. And we're going to give the Saudis nuclear weapons now. So in our stupid bid to denuclearize the Middle East, we just nuclearized it. Because when they get it, the Turks won't. Yes, they will. And are we stopping the Turks? No, we're not. They're a NATO country. We are not stopping the Turks. So because of this terrible blunder that somehow Republicans will say, well, no, it was a terrible blunder. The Iranians will get nuclear weapons, so will the Saudis, and so will the Turks. So now we're going to have 3 more nuclear powers in the Middle East when the goal was to make none of that. And Mike, you said it didn't matter with the establishment. If the establishment was with Trump in 2016, Abraham Accords might have happened and none of this would have happened. But the establishment was against him. And you didn't get the Abraham Accords finished. And now here we are, having to bribe the Saudis to get them. My point just made. Establishment does matter. And communication matters because now Americans aren't going to put up with what it would take to ensure Iran won't get nuclear weapons. We won't do it. It's not going to happen. American people will not do it. Because we won't do it, they will get nuclear weapons now. Guaranteed. And if they get it, so will Saudis. If they get it, so will Turks. They'll get it too. Well, they can't make it. They'll buy them. They'll buy them. Who's going to stop them? Pakistanis will sell to them. Piss the Russians off, they'll do it. Chinese probably won't. North Koreans in a heartbeat. Wouldn't think twice. Absolutely do it. Yeah. What are you going to do? Bomb them? You can't. You got nukes. This is a disaster. It's a total disaster. And it could have worked, but it didn't. Anyway, I'm yapping away. I'm a little pissy today. I am. I'm a little pissy today. I am. Brona says, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pissed beyond belief. Our government is even considering giving something new capabilities to fucking come that prep 9/11. Thank you. Oh, he goes on while telling us never forget. Yes. Yes. I've already called it. This is the end of Trump's presidency. He will be known for this. Nothing else he did will matter. Nothing else he did will matter. He'll be known for this. Just like LBJ was known for Vietnam. He will be LBJ. If he doesn't, look, he still has some time. I've called it. I've said he's got till August. Maybe September, perhaps till August. He can still fix this. It is still possible. Trump, if he goes back to his way of communicating, goes back to his base, he could fix this. Just use the wisdom of humongous and walk away. Do it. Declare victory. Say, I've done what I was always going to do. Blah, blah, blah. Let them have the JCPOA again, but call it something else. Call it the Trump POA, whatever. Do whatever you got to do. Play your game, brother. The guy is a branding master. Be the branding master you are. Get out. End this war. Call it the Trump POA or whatever. The golden POA. Call it whatever you're going to call it. Walk away. Come back home. Fix your coalition. If you don't, we're going to have freaking President Mamdani. You think I'm joking? I know because Mamdani can't run. Yes, he can. Oh, yes. Some of you don't know that. Yes, he can. He was born in America. Neither was Cenk Uygur. Neither was Ted Cruz. But both ran for president. Oh, yes. Ted Cruz not born in America. Yeah. Technically, McCain kind of was. He was born on the base. But McCain was born in Panama. Panama Canal, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. So he ran for president. So did Cenk Uygur. Why? The amendment, the Constitution says you can't. Yeah, but there's an amendment that says you cannot treat people who are naturalized different than people who are natural born citizens. 14th Amendment, right? You can't. Well, according to that lawsuit, which Cenk Uygur was about to place, he didn't because he got his ass kicked in the primary, but it's already prepped, ready to go. Already prepped, ready to go. When that lawsuit goes to the Supreme Court, depends on who has Supreme Court at that point. The Supreme Court will say, yeah, that supersedes the rules. So anyone who's an American citizen can run for president. I'm not joking. Think I'm making it up? Check it yourself. Absolutely true. And if Mamdani's popular, which if he keeps going, he will be, that's all that matters is popularity. Yep. President Arnold Schwarzenegger. President Mamdani. You all think I'm joking. I'm not. Brana says, neocons can't accept it loud because this is and always has been part of the neocon plan. Please, my friends, investigate PNAC. Thank you. We should do that. I like that. But yes, they cannot accept it. They're always wrong and can't accept it. Adam says, loud, this is the 70s. Or we're going to get 80s rock bands again. We already have. Have you listened to modern day music? It's 80s. Yeah, it's already there. I could use some more Ozzy, Guns N' Roses. Yes. Oh, yeah. It's already there. Listen to the new music. Listen to music now. It's already there. Yes, we're already there. All righty. If I can go back here. No, he says, allow me ask if Larry compared Trump to Carter. In a way, yes. It's almost there. All right. Let's see. Brian says, I brought up the podcasting ladder because I have a libertarian forum here and a right-leaning forum with Mike. I can't find a left-leaning show that has conversations. It's hard to find. Mike and I have tried this years ago. Michael will bring this up often. Maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe. Me and Mike had a show with a woman named Charlotte Burnett. Brilliant woman. Love her to death. She's in DC now, works for the government. She can't really do the show anymore. I wish she would. If you're watching, Charlotte, I love you. Please come back. She's amazing. Hardcore lefty. Mike and her fought all the time on policy. But she talked. She spoke. She gave you actual back and forth. Mike and her had actual conversations, right? She didn't just go, Mike, you're dumb. Mike, you're this. She didn't just insult him. She actually had back and forth with him, which was amazing. This is why I love Brianna Joy Gray. I wish I can get her. I wish she's just too popular, but I wish I can get her. Brianna Joy Gray does it too. She actually has conversations. Now, to be clear, her chat isn't as bad. So maybe try Brianna Joy Gray. Her show was called Bad Faith Podcast. They're not as bad. But they're pretty much, but they're not as bad. So yeah, you could try that maybe. She's very much left, absolutely left. So maybe that's the best bet. Bad Faith Podcast, Brianna Joy Gray. And maybe use my name. Maybe she'll finally give me some attention. I would love to have her on the show if she would come. So I've reached out to her before. We've gone back and forth via like text, but she's never come on. She's always too busy, whatever. She's too cool. She's too cool for me. So yes. Captain says, Ray, left-leaning discourse. The last time I was involved with that type of chat, people were in agreement about shutting down diversity of thought. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. You're not worthy, Captain, because you're by default. You're bad by default. So yes, absolutely. So look, we've been talking about Trump's tariffs and such. We've chatted about it here, back and forth. But we've been talking about tariffs for a while in many places. One of those places you can talk about tariffs is the Advocates for Self-Government. Yes, you can. Click the link that is in my description if you would. Head on over there and then head over to the articles piece if you would and type in tariffs. 1 R, 2 Fs, not 2 Rs, 1 F. I mess it up myself sometimes. It is 1 R, 2 Fs. And what will you get? Tariffs. Why you should fear them. Libertarians don't like tariffs. We don't. And here's a nice 4-minute read from Douglas Carswell. And do you like it? Do you think it's wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Whatever it is, when you're done, let us know what you think, submit it, and yes, indeed, share it. It is important that you share it. Once you've used the link in my description, gone over there, put in tariffs, read this article, do me a favor, grade it and share it. So more people will see it, get it, go, you know what? I should head over there and see what these guys are all about. The Advocates for Self-Government will show you all types of articles, quizzes, tests, interesting things that you will enjoy and make you think, you know what? Maybe self-government is possible. And it is if and only if we stop thinking about coercion and instead realize it's all about respect. Respect will give us a better government, a better community, a better family, a better world. The Advocates for Self-Government. They are a sponsor of the show. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed that piece. I just didn't do that. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Matt says, I was a huge Charlie Kirk fan while I was live. I enjoyed some viewpoints, some not. Normal stuff. But since he's been gone, his message of free debate and speech is sainthood in my eyes now. Yeah. You know, there's a part of it that I agree with that, right? I like the back and forth tremendously. Now he says 3 more nuclear powers. Time for nukes to fly and just wait and see. Yes. John says, Saudis must like Israel. I guarantee they have nukes, but play down the question. Oh, you think so? I'm not sure. Yeah. Bonus I like Pissy Larry. Maybe. Pissy Larry can be exciting sometimes. That's true. I can be sometimes. Very true. So, all right, I covered that one. And there's this, Alberta is the most American part of Canada. Nah, it's got to be Toronto. No, dude. Alberta is the most right-leaning part of Canada. That's what it is. It's the most right-leaning. I wouldn't say it's the most American. Toronto is very American. Absolutely. I think it's very American. So I hope that makes sense at least. So, all righty. Let's see here. John says, BJG's chat is far less psychopath than Sab. Yes. Yes, correct. Brianna Joy Gray's chat is better. Sabby's can be brutal. Sabbies can be brutal. Yes. Brennan says, Larry, you've often said one of the things missing from most people's purpose. My purpose seems to be discussing ideas. I just can't find it from the left. It's hard. You're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. It's very challenging. It is very challenging. So I think we covered that already. Okay. We covered that piece. I think we covered most of these. Okay. D9 says, AMA, if you're going to enact one change in the armed forces, what would it be? One change in the armed forces? I would probably, if I could change one thing, I would shrink the officer corps by at least 75%. Cuts all the way through. And I would change all officer training. Right now, officer training in America produces mediocre officers. I will go back to the old school Prussian model that we had back in the day to train our officers. That's if I can make one change, I'll do that. Yes, because the officer corps is what tends to move us forward. Whether we go woke or not, whether we go old school or not, whether we go new school or not, the officer corps does a lot of that. Whether we spend our time making money and making deals or not, and the officer corps makes deals and doesn't do anything. That's why sadly, and it makes people angry when I say it, our very powerful military is obsolete. We can see it. We can't open the Straits of Hormuz. We're not ready for the drone wars at all. And that's because our officer corps is mediocre. That's the reason. We are not ready for war because our officer corps is mediocre. There are great officers within our officer corps, but overall it's about cash. Overall, it's about contracts. Overall, it's about administration. Again, we have about 1,000 generals for 2 million people. We used to have 2,000 generals for 12 million. So yeah, and that was during World War II. We should probably have probably at most 200 generals. 200, maybe all. That's it, no more. So yes. All righty, I think that makes sense. All righty. Mike says, one change, mandatory military service. Boo, no draft. No, Mike, you're wrong. No, boo, boo. Mine was better. I think we changed that. Mine was better. So yes. All righty. Let's see. We did that, I think. Okay. K. John says, how about taking really great care of them after they're injured, traumatized? That will be the VA then, I think. So yes, if it was the VA, then yes, I would agree with you. The VA, I would stop focusing so much on education, and I would focus on taking care of the wounded. And more importantly, Kayshon, because we're not bad. We're not bad at physical wounds. We are terrible at invisible wounds. So if I had to make a change in that regard, it would be to make us better at TBI, PTSD, depression, the invisible wounds. We're not bad at the physical wounds. I mean, we're not great, but we're not bad at it. I would focus on that. That's what I would do if I was doing that piece. Phil says no Blue Water Navy. If we had a better officer corps, we wouldn't have that. That's my point. The better officer corps fixes all of that. If we had a better officer corps, we'd already be in drones. We wouldn't need a Blue Water Navy. Our entire Navy would just be missile cruisers, right? It would be missile cruisers and transport ships. That's all it would be, right? And drone ships, missile cruisers, transport. That's all it would be, right? We wouldn't have a Air Force in the Navy. That would all be gone. It would all be gone. And I'm sorry. Of course, I'm sorry. I'm being silly. I have to add the most important piece. We still have nuclear subs. I mean, those are critical. We'd have those. That's all we'd have. So it would be done. Our tanks would already be gone already. Marine Corps already got rid of tanks. We'd have no tanks anymore. We'd have a bunch of Iron Man soldiers who with drone capabilities and drone defense. We'd already have it already. So yeah, I think we do that, then that would already work. So yes. All right. Andrew says, can't drive Magnum 28. Yes, you can. Draft up to 33. So yes, we can, my friend. Roger says, if Brainerd can't get Bree, she can always get Sabby. If Brainerd can't get Bree, she can always get Sabby. Oh, you mean Bronner? Yeah, Bronner Kinkabry. Yeah, maybe we can get Sabby. I talked to her today, actually, so I need to maybe reach out to her again. But her chat can be brutal. So, yeah, her chat can be brutal. So there we go. Mike says 30. Oh, 35. I thought it was 33. Is it 35? Okay, 35 then. Still, we got you. Either way. We got you either way. Yes. So, yeah, either way, we got you. It doesn't matter. Guys, I'm going to ask you if you could do me a favor. Please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Click that button if you haven't already. It does matter. Share or repost if you haven't. Share or repost it. I ask you this all the time because, again, if you're not sharing it, no one will. I need you to share it. It does matter. You can support the show at the Sharpe Way. Linktree, the Sharpe Way. Support it any way you feel. Become a member. That's awesome if you want to do that. Patreon, buy me a coffee, whatever, so we can keep moving this forward. I'm trying my damnedest to move this forward. It has been hard. It has been hard, but I'm trying very much to make this happen. And the team's working hard too. So you guys know Missy's out. She's having some trouble now, but she's getting better. Hopefully she'll be back in action by next week. Guys, I will be on next week, starting Monday. I'll be off Saturday and Sunday. Dee has been mad at me. Tell me I have to take off, so I will. So do me a favor, though. Comment after the live if you would. Please tell me what you think. What do you think is most affecting the cost of living in America today? What is mostly affecting the cost of living in America today? Is it the tariffs? Is it the Fed? Is it debt? Is it oil? Is it the war? What is most affecting pricing and the cost of living in America today? I will see you all very soon.